Today, I'm excited to welcome Lee back to Talk New Music, who's joined me to chat about a gig that he's hosting with independent artists. Lee, welcome back to Talk New Music. How have you been?
Thank you very much. I've been very well, thank you. Doing my usual large stacks of musical things, still running the streams, still making music for other people. So yeah, it's all go at this end.
Nice. So you're putting on a gig on the 12th of October. Would you like to tell us about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so as you probably know, we run a monthly live stream called Live in the Basement, where we showcase original artists. We have a band or an artist come on, they do a 45-minute set of the original music with a bit of an interview in the middle. And we've been doing this for 2.5 years or thereabouts now. So we've had whatever that is, about 30 bands and assorted artists come through the door and stream for us. And we thought it was time to start putting the occasional live gig on with these people as well. So we've basically booked an all-dayer in Nottingham and roped in a lot of the bands or a selection of the bands and singers and songwriters who've streamed for us to do a live show, which because we're live in the basement, so we're calling this show Up from the Basement. So everyone's coming out into the daylight to play their music.
So as you mentioned, you've done a lot of YouTube lives to support independent artists. What made you decide to put on this live show that people can attend?
I suppose it seems in a way like a logical extension of the live streams anyway. But I guess there are two main things with doing a live stream. Firstly, when in the time we've done these streams, um, what tends to happen is you get an artist who gets in contact, they come and do a stream, and then their friends who are also in bands watch the stream, and then they want to do it as well. So you get maybe three bands from Lincolnshire who come and stream for you in fairly quick succession, and you get two or three bands from Nottingham, two or three bands from Derby, two or three bands from Leicester or whatever. But what tends to happen is the little communities of bands or of artists who don't know each other get into contact and want to do some music. And so it's one thing is the kind of community element of it, getting a bunch of these separate communities, little musical communities together in the same place so they can meet each other, see each other's music, maybe form new musical relationships. So there's a kind of networking element to it. And also, I think, particularly in the post-lockdown world, but generally speaking, if you're doing original music, it's quite difficult to get people who've never heard of you out to see you. So the opportunity to bands kind of have to support each other. We go as often as we can to watch other bands we don't necessarily know or people who streamed us just to provide that. I mean, as you do yourself, to provide those audience numbers that you really need to keep the community going. So bands getting to know each other is a really valuable resource for keeping live music going. But also from a sort of gigging perspective, we all love live music. That's why we do the streams. But when you're watching a live stream, you can hear the music and you can see the band, but you don't have the atmosphere and you can't kind of feel the music like you can in a live gig situation, with it being unless you've got an insane PA system in your living room or something. You can't get the same effect from the bass speakers. So, as live music lovers, we get to see it when we stream it because obviously we've got guitar amps and PAs and stuff in the studio. But the people who are seeing it from the audience's point of view, watching the streams, won't get the same experience. And I suppose for the band as well, it's a bit drier because they've got four or five people operating cameras and signaling madly to each other to sort out important moves, and while the poor band is trying to perform. So yeah, I think it's got a kind of community aspect to it, which would be really nice, and also it will just be nicer for the audience who've seen them, because I guess with the stream, it's a way that we've managed to pull more audiences in for bands who've just started up. And now maybe we can get people to trek down to the Angel to see the live show as well and get the whole atmosphere and the whole bass experience.
Sounds good. So where will the gig be held?
Okay, we're holding it at the Angel Microbrewery in Hockley in Nottingham. So it's in Nottingham City Centre. We chose that because we have a long history with the venue. It's got a nice stage, it's got a nice PA system, and Harley, the sound engineer, is extraordinarily helpful, which is a bit of an advantage really because we're going to be able to take a live desk feed from it, throw up a couple of cameras as well, and maybe make a bit of a live video from the whole event as well, which would be quite nice for the artists, and obviously it's a bit of a memento for everyone who was there.
So who's on the lineup for the gig?
Goodness, well, we've got a good selection at the moment. We've still got a couple of slots to fill. But we've got Madison Jones, who's a singer-songwriter, who and also incidentally the director of the Basement streams. We've got Ollie Hayes, who's streamed for us a couple of times. He's excellent singer-songwriter. Then we've got a series of bands. My band, Talking with Ghosts, are going to play a fairly early slot, I think, so we can enjoy the rest of the music, and we'll be madly running around fixing stuff anyway. Then what else have we got? 9 O'Clock Nasty, who are I call them punk hop. They're like a hip hop punk band, punk trio, who jump around a lot and have lasers, and it's a wonderful show. They're real good atmosphere band. We've got Tiny Forehead. Tiny Forehead seem to have grown since we streamed them. They've now got an electric violin player, a keyboard player, and another vocalist. So how we're going to fit them on the stage? Well, maybe they'll just have to jump around in the audience a bit, I think, maybe. But again, they're a sort of, I could call them a punk band, but one thing I've learnt about punk music from doing these streams is that it's not like it used to be. It's pulled in so many influences and so much sort of technical ability that when you hear a punk band, you're not just listening to four chords or, the Sex Pistols or something like that. You're likely to hear something that's far more modern and far more complex than you might automatically think, or certainly I think when I think of punk having been alive in the 70s. So yeah, we've got Tiny Forehead coming along with punk with electric violin and keyboards and lots of vocalists. The incredible Eryx London, another punk band as well, who have a guy called Ruben plays guitar for them. They're a really sophisticated, real textural guitar player. They're amazing. I went to their album launch a few weeks ago, so they've got an album out. But they're making quite a lot of waves on the scene. They're gigging all the time. They're playing with quite a lot of big bands and playing a lot of the big festivals as well. So I was very pleased that they were happy to come and play a set for us. And then we've got Content Provider, who streamed for us a couple of years ago, I think, and they're actually coming to do a stream in September with us. So we've got this thing with the Basement is that we invite bands back if they want to come like 2 years later, so we can catch up on news and they can air their new music if they want to. So yeah, Content Provider are headlining. They recently signed to a record label. They've got some new stuff coming out. They are really good. We gig with them occasionally as well, so that will be nice. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the lineup so far. We've got a couple more slots to fill. I'm just waiting for some messages back from the people who've been invited. I hope I haven't forgotten anyone, but yeah, it's they will be advertising it on the Lee's Musical Adventures Facebook page and Instagram, and also on the Talking with Ghosts Facebook page and Instagram. So if I've missed anybody or anyone else lands on the bill, then the moving feast will become apparent, and you can get any updates there.
It sounds like a good lineup, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. I mean, for all the bands that are there, there's also bands who haven't been able to make it. So I think we've mostly because instead of dropping records, they've been dropping babies. But I think we're in a position, yeah, so we're easily in a position to run 2 or 3 more of these and still not start to dole up too much on lineup. So that would be nice.
So what can people expect from the gig?
Oh, lots of fantastic music, really good atmosphere, lots of really nice people. All the bands are all very enjoyable people to hang out with, so I think the atmosphere is going to be great. The music will be fantastic. It's a really nice venue. It's about the right size, I think, for the for the level of bands we're going to have. So I think it should be a really good night. Lots of original music. And of course, you can always swat up on people's Spotify accounts in advance if you want to know what to expect in advance.
So what are you looking forward to most about the gig?
Oh, what am I looking forward to most about the gig? I mean, the whole thing of it being over, I think is because it's so much work putting these things on, as you know. So I know once we've played, and I can just that's why I'm really pleased that we're playing earlier in the evening rather than headlining. So I think what I'm looking forward to most is finishing my set and just being able to enjoy the rest of the bands who we've streamed in the past and who are, well, many of us have become good friends since then. So yeah, and I'm just hanging out with a lot of nice people.
So finally, if somebody would like to attend the event, where can they get tickets?
Tickets will be available on Skiddle at 10 quid each, I think. There'll be, again, links on the Lee's Musical Adventures Facebook page and the Talking with Ghosts Facebook page. You'll probably be able to get links off any of the other bands as well. So that will be doing the rounds fairly soon. We'll certainly have them up by the end of August, maybe a little bit before that. Once the artwork's all been finished for it. There's a lot of things to arrange.
So yeah, massive thank you, Lee, for joining me on Totally Music. And if anyone would like to attend the event, I'll leave all the links in the description below for you.
Thank you for having me. Come along. It will be a fantastic afternoon of music. And if lots of people would rather we did it somewhere else at some point, let me know, and maybe we'll turn it into a mobile event, and we'll go play in some other venues in some other cities as well.